This one's for Christians. It's about abolishing child sacrifice, baby murder.
Oh, that's scary looking picture there. The way it just looks kind of
Just a little baby,
evil.
little baby in the womb.
Yeah.
I work at the Medford Pregnancy Center.
You don't work there. Ouch! You volunteer there.
I work there.
I'm still expecting those what time is
Yeah, but
purple
there's a
things.
difference in when you
I
say
have no
work
idea when I'm
somewhere.
going to receive them.
Right below you.
More than 8 cases, 40 cases.
That's for you. If you like to read that,
copies I got coming to
it
this.
basically talks about we're not pro-lifers, we're abolitionists working to abolish child sacrifice, meaning that do you know about the pro-life movement? Well, I guess you do because you work at it. Do you know the difference between pro-life and abolition? Well, this will, in a nutshell, this will kind of help explain.
So I guess any church
See if you can see the differences there
put their stamp
between
on
abolition bill and pro-life bill.
Blank pages.
Before Roe v. Wade was overturned.
I've got to get a few people to take some of those off my hands because I'm sure not going to be able to hand out 9,600 copies myself.
So this kind of gives a little bit more allowance for it.
Oh, not more than a little bit, a lot. Like, and that's, if you want to know, like, what is the number one reason that babies are still being murdered under color of law in America? Right here.
Never criminalize the woman.
I've seen in the states like Texas and Oklahoma and in Louisiana where they've had bills that would abolish child sacrifice, baby murder. Can you guess who is the number one force in opposing and killing those bills every time?
Women?
Well, some of them, yes. Pro-lifers.
Oh, really?
Pro-life leaders.
Interesting.
You know why?
No. You don't want to
Because we
criminalize
can't. Right here. Because they believe every mom who murders her baby is a victim, and therefore they should never be punished. But it's like right here. It's free too. This is a picture of a baby murder rally. I mean, as you can tell, the pro-life, and I'm not saying all pro-lifers, like groups, leadership, politicians, they say every one of these moms who are boasting about murdering their babies and the so-called right to murder your child, everyone's a victim. And so that's and
there would probably be more. I'm not sure what side I would take, but I would definitely not say they were victims. I wouldn't say they were victims, but at the same time, Scripture tells us that we need to share the gospel with people that don't know it.
Yeah.
We're all sinners. No one's good, and so it's a terrible thing to take an unborn child's life, preborn child.
In fact, it's so awful that this.
Yeah, I like Rick. We listen to a lot of Rick Hubbard on YouTube.
When you look at Leviticus chapter 20,
You ever watch him on YouTube?
you know what God gives for the punishment in Leviticus chapter 20 for those who sacrifice their children?
So Jeff and I went to
It's in verses 1 through 5. Verses 1 through 5, Leviticus chapter 20.
Yeah, I mean, also, Old Testament Levitical law is pretty harsh for you and me for doing things, divorce and things of that nature. Not that I'm in any way for that.
Yeah.
Very much against it. It's like I get that,
go say hi to her. She's the pastor of the church.
but that is Levitical law, and so
I'm gonna
with
finish
Christ,
her. I'm going to go say hi to somebody.
we're to be more compassionate towards people, right? I mean, I get.
Well,
I'm not saying I'm against, laws, that the women would have to go through as consequences for their actions, right?
Well,
sometimes
the pro-life movement says no.
If pro-life, and I won't say no.
Well, not saying all pro-lifers. I mean, the pro-life establishment, pro-life movement.
Yeah.
They believe women should be punished for other crimes, even drowning their child in the bathtub. But if that crime is murdering your baby in the womb, they believe you should be exonerated, absolved from all punishment.
I don't totally disagree with that. I mean,
well,
it's a terrible thing, and I think there should be consequences because, particularly, women going in for multiple ones, and it's like, so that's what we try to do at the center is, I work with, of course, just the men to counsel them. What does Christ say about, a baby knit in a mother's womb by the Creator of the universe, and try to make them understand that it's a gift from God, hopefully that that'll change them so that they'll never want another abortion.
A few of them, some of them you can talk to them and you can even show them. They print out an ultrasound of their baby. I mean, we've had this happen where they come out with an ultrasound of their baby, and then they go in and have the baby when they're just looking at the ultrasound and butcher them. And the pro-life movement would say that's a victim.
It's evil, yeah.
And now, if this is in communist China, I mean, for years now it's the 2-child policy. They had the 1-child policy, and they would kidnap moms. You may be familiar with that, and force them, like held them down. That's not happening here. Moms are willingly going to Planned Parenthood. They're willingly ordering the pills online, and like there are many pro-lifers who say, well, let's go after the abortionist, not the mom. It's like, do you realize that the abortionist would have no babies to murder if the mom didn't willingly bring her child to him? Because abortionists don't go out looking for babies to murder. Moms willingly bring their children to him or her. They willingly order the pills, have the pills come to their door, and take them. And there have been mothers that have done this on live camera during live interviews. They'll swallow the pill right on live camera.
No, it's just
and
Christ, I mean, Satan's the ruler of this world, and that's you're either for God or you're against him, and Satan is your God, right? So it's evil stuff. It's evil. There's no two ways about it. Killing babies is just evil.
Well,
but now I will say one thing though, is that and I don't know how many years it's been, but when the ultrasound came on, that changed the general country's understanding of what abortion means, and that's probably why Roe versus Wade and the Supreme Court was turned back to the states. So percentage-wise, it's changed. So
it makes us even more brazen now, to where people say, kill them kids, F them kids, and we know they're children, but we're going to murder them anyway. I mean, that's, as I'm a straight preacher, my name is Nicholas, by the way.
Pardon me?
And Nicholas.
Jeff,
Mr. Jeff, and so I've heard, I can't tell you how many moms I've had boast right to me in front of my face, kill them kids. I've murdered, recently I've had them say that I murdered, however many. And so like, that's, again, I'm not saying all pro-lifers or even every pro-life organization, most of them, yes, most pro-life organizations. Like if you just ask them, should abortion be criminalized? And what should happen to the mom who murders her baby? Most of them will tell you it should not be criminalized, and the mom's a victim who should never be punished.
Yeah. Well, the criminalization, that's interesting. I'll have to talk to some of my pro-life friends about that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was the other one you said? So there was criminalization, and then the other question?
Well, it should be criminalized, and what should be done with the mom who murders her baby, or anyone who commits the act of murdering a child?
Right.
Mom, dad, hired assassin. But the person who's responsible, like the primary perpetrators of child sacrifice, are the moms in America. And like even the moderator in the debate the other night said that 2/3 of all abortions are through the pills. So if her statistic is right, then 2/3 of the time around that, you don't even have an abortionist, a hired assassin. The mom becomes the abortionist. And so like, why are we saying that the mom is a victim who should never be punished? Like what we're saying is, what pro-lifers who say that, what they're saying is, we would rather babies be murdered than punish the ones who are murdering them. And they probably don't even realize they're thinking that, or indirectly saying that. But it's like, well, you cannot you cannot consider something a crime and punish it if you tell someone that this is a crime, but they're not going to be punished for it. If that makes sense, you can't make someone a crime and then not punish anyone for committing it. What would be the deterrent, right? But that's why you have moms murdering their babies and boasting about it, because even pro-life laws have said you're a victim, you won't be punished.
Because he lifts me from my head.
And it's just what the Bible says in Ecclesiastes 8:11, that it says, slipped out my mind there real quick, but it talks about law, and if you don't have any consequences for that law, then the sons of men are given fully to do evil. And so there's no consequences right now for moms who murder their babies in any state. That's says because the sentence against an evil deed is not executed quickly, or in this case at all, therefore the hearts of the sons of men among them are given fully to do evil.
I will say Trump said something, I think in the debate the other night,
Yeah.
about rape and incest, and
He said he was for it. He said
yeah,
rape,
so
incest,
I
life of the
definitely am
mother.
not for it, and rape or incest. That's just, to me, that's ridiculous.
Well, it is, and he said that before in other interviews. But I'm actually glad that he said that on national TV for people to hear, so that pro-lifers will say, "Whoa." Now some will still vote for him because, well, he's better than Biden. Well, no, he's not. He's a baby killer just like Biden is. Not to get into that, I'm just saying that his position there, what he said, that's typical. That's the position of most pro-life groups. Not saying everyone, but National Right to
The
Life
ones I've been involved with, yeah.
and like National and
Right to life, is that their position, rape and incest?
I'm pretty sure I had to look it up again, but National Right to Life, they are like huge compromisers. In fact, National Right to Life, back I think 2 years ago, when Louisiana they were putting forth a bill that would abolish abortion. They were the first state where it actually went to the House floor to get a vote.
Yeah.
National Right to Life, I think this was April 2022, if I'm not mistaken. National Right to Life, they put forth a letter, sent it to, I think 70 different, politicians, or they sent it around to the legislatures saying that basically women should never be punished, they're victims, and we will never punish them. Look that up. It's National Right to Life, and they and many pro-life groups, I think 70 pro-life groups signed that letter.